We going? We're good. Nice. All right, and welcome here live to Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama, the final game of the 2020 regular season, and it's happening in April of 2021. The oddest year in the history of college football, we hope it will remain the oddest year in perpetuity, is ready to conclude for Faulkner. They come in at 5-2 in this one, hosting a Bluefield team out of the Appalachian division of the Mid-South Conference that enters at 2-6. They are fresh off of a win last week over Union, a 42-20 victory in that one. I'm Jeremy Smith alongside David Turner and Deshaun Bullock, bringing you all of the action for today's game. David, this is a Faulkner offense that only a couple of times this year has it really not been able to make anything work, and that largely was against Reinhardt.
Right.
But every other game they have had something, whether it be the pass game or the run game that's working, and in some games they've had both of them working. And off of a very good performance last week against St. Andrews, despite turning the ball over 4 times in that game, they still managed to score 40 points. They racked up 25 first downs and moved the ball incredibly well, 490 yards of total offense. What do you look for out of this offense this week against Bluefield?
They did last week. The ground game worked really well for them last week. I would expect them to at least start this game here this evening, with the ground game, try to get that going, establish it, and then try to work that screen game that they like to use so much off of that. And Cade Young has been fairly proficient at throwing that deep ball on occasion and picking up that single coverage on the outside when he gets those opportunities and taking advantage. So I'm sure they'll take some of those shots throughout the course of this ball game. But defensively last week, especially the second half, is probably where the games that we've seen here at home have been the biggest improvement. We saw them get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, pick up some sacks, and do a lot of things defensively to disrupt the offensive unit for the opposing team.
And Deshaun, when you look at this defensive unit, one of the things they've struggled to do all year long prior to last week is get home on the quarterback. They've had a hard time getting him off his spot and applying pressure. That was not an issue last week for this defense, a defense that forced 4 turnovers in the game, totaled 6 sacks last week. How big of a difference does that make for this defensive unit for the Eagles?
It makes a big difference because it really boosts the confidence up, especially for the D-line when they're trying to get to the quarterback. Obviously, when you can get to the quarterback, it helps out everybody else on the defense, especially the guys in the box when they're dropping into coverage. And, of course, you got your secondaries, with your interception leader of Alex Dawson and then everybody else. It really just creates this different atmosphere, like you can do anything and you can get off the field each time, and everybody else is going to get reps of it too.
So the captains come to midfield. We are ready for the coin toss of this one. We're going to pause for just a moment. We'll bring you right back on the Faulkner Sports Network. All right, welcome back to the Faulkner Sports Network presentation of Faulkner Eagle football. You see all of the seniors lined up out there for this Faulkner Eagle team. Jacob Pigg handles the coin toss for the Eagles. For the Rams, it is Colin O'Donnell, normally listed at number 90. He's in number 73 today. He is a junior D lineman from North Tonawanda, New York. The other seniors for Faulkner, you got Brady Hancock, Alvin Renteria, Deshaun Love, Daquan Snell, Cordero Laurent, Austin Cummings out there. All of those young men recognized before the game as they intend for this to be their final game in the monochromatic blue uniform of the Eagles today.
Big word.
Countered by the All Whites with the blue helmet from Bluefield. A long drive down here from the state line of West Virginia and Virginia is this Bluefield team. It's interesting when you look at their campus. I believe the football team is listed as being from one state, but the college is sort of on the other. The campus straddles the state line, is my understanding. So it's an interesting drive for them, and they were willing to play this game at 5 o'clock so that we could have homecoming here today. Now, we were going to have homecoming presentations of the court at halftime. Then the weatherman said, no, it will storm. And so we did the homecoming court in Chapel 2 days ago, and now it's been a beautiful day. So here we are, ready to go. We will watch the shadows move. You see most of the field uncovered by shadow right now, but about 30 minutes from now, half of that field will be in the shadows. It'll be interesting as you transition into twilight and the lights come on here. Faulkner will receive. Malik Meadows and Isaiah Scott will both go back to receive the kick. I'm going to do a quick headset check. Deshaun Bullock, you're able to hear me, are you not?
I can hear you.
Very good. It's weird when you don't hear yourself in your headset, so you just wonder, is this like at home when I talk and people don't listen to me? How does this go?
Pretty much. That's what I'm going with anyway.
Ball teed up. Bluefield to kick it away. It'll be Tanner Griffith that handles all of the kicking duties today for Bluefield. That one a high kick fielded at about the 8-yard line by Malik Meadows. His return up to the 20, 25, 30. Good return, 35, cuts it back 40. Makes another man miss. He's
got
still
something
alive across midfield. Malik Meadows will head down the sideline. Big block to buy him some more yardage. And Malik Meadows all the way to the 21-yard line of the Rams. And what a way to start it for Malik Meadows. He caught it at his own 8 and took it to the Bluefield 21.
Great job by Meadows setting up those blocks and taking advantage of everything downfield. Nice return, setting the Eagles up in prime real estate here on this first drive.
Well, Meadows is a guy that averages nearly 40 yards a return, so teams stopped kicking it to him. They started kicking it to Isaiah Scott, and he averaged over 40 yards a return, so they just decided to go back to Meadows. That's his first return in quite some time. Out of the gun is Cade Young. 2 receivers left, 1 right. He is flanked by Charles Blackman. And the give is to a tailback we haven't called the name of all year long. That'd be number 34.
Devin Murray.
Devin Murray. So just like that, our 2 deeps are worth not the paper they're printed. So the senior carry for Devin Murray, who was not honored on senior day, but I don't know what his plans are for the future. But he does get the carry. Second down and 8. To the left of the quarterback is Gibson. Laurent across the face. The handoff to Laurent. He'll turn it up the sideline, and it should be 6, and it is for Cordero Laurent. The senior takes it on the jet sweep and scores on the opening carry of the game for him. And it's a 19-yard run. Faulkner up 6-0 early, fellas.
I'm going to give that one to Deshaun Bullock. Before the game ever even started, he said they're going to go first carry to Murray and then go probably that jet sweep to Laurent, and that's exactly what happens.
Why are we
and
here
got
if
6.
Deshaun's going to Tony Romo this whole time? Also, why don't you use that on air? Like, have I taught you nothing as a broadcaster?
I got to talk to some of the guys earlier, and that was the plan going into the game. So that really worked. I'm pretty sure Laurent wanted – that's the best way for it to work out. So, great play by them. Picture perfect. I didn't say it on air. I didn't predict it on air.
You wasted all the good material off air.
I said it before. We
went
live.
Using all your lines before you go on the date. I don't understand that at all. So we're going to go to break here at 7-0 Faulkner Sports Network. Shout out to our producer, Buddy Bagsby. We always shout this guy out at the end of the game. We're going to go ahead and get him early on. Buddy Bagsby is riding the wave of our antics today and fresh on the mute button, which seems like it's a smart idea as we start this one off. 7-0 for Faulkner. Not long at all, 54 seconds to score that opening touchdown. Spurred on by that Malik Meadows kick return. Now Alvin Renteria will kick it away. The senior puts it back to about the 10-yard line. The return up to the 25, still on his feet, 30, cuts back the other way, and he'll be stacked up at about the 30-yard line. The return man there was Lowell Patron Jr.
How about the tackle?
Is it Patron or Patron? What are we doing there? We going Patron?
I would say Patron. I would go with Patron.
Patron it is. Lowell Patron Jr., Newport News, Virginia native.
An interesting lineup. We'll see Daquan Snell, who's going to get this start at corner for the Eagles today. One of the seniors recognized.
I believe this is his first start on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
Out of the gun goes Bluefield. And he fires it over toward Malik Meadows. It was short of the receiver, the intended target over there. Can anybody make out the number? That was Jaquan Ebron, the 6-foot junior. Was the intended target. Your quarterback is Josh Nelson. Number 11 or number 12? It's number 6. So your quarterback is Bryce Verbal, who's not listed on the team we were sent.
24. 40 with the carry.
The carry by 40. I'm going to hope he's here on
that. That is Lamp. He is on the 2 deep.
I love Lamp. He was on the 2 deep. Very good there. A carry up to the 34-yard line. 3rd and 6, or the 35 officially. Right at 3rd and 5. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Verbal out of the gun. There's the snap, the give. He'll get near first down yardage and stretch, and I think he's short at about the 39-yard line.
He looked short on that.
Yeah, he's going to be short, but a strong run.
Interesting early decision for Bluefield. You don't really have anything to lose. You go for it on 4th and 1.
You're kind of in that the tail end of that interesting field position anyway. They're going to punt, but, this early in the game, roll the dice and see what happens.
So, the punter is on the field, unless there's something tricky in place. We'll see him punt away. There's the snap. Punt is up.
Nice punt.
Malik Meadows back deep at the 13-yard line. Backtracks to the 12 and taken down at the 11. So Meadows, no time to react on that one as the ball hung up in the air.
That was just a great punt by Griffith. Cornered him right there. Didn't give him anywhere to go with the football. Nice job by the Gunners getting down the field and wrapping him up as soon as he really caught it.
All right, they'll spot it up to the 12. I guess they'll say that the contact forced him back to the 11. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Out of the gun goes Cade Young. We are confident in who this quarterback is. The snap to Young. The give to Hunter Gibson. Pulls it out. Hits Isaiah Scott. Turns back upfield. Shakes the first man. Shakes the second. Isaiah Scott with hard-fought yardage all the way up to the 34. And Deshaun Bullock, you talk about Isaiah Scott and the way that he runs routes, but He is very difficult to tackle.
He is so hard to bring down. He is one of those guys, like, when you look at him, you wouldn't understand how strong he is until you try to bring him down, and he's going to keep running. His momentum will always go forward, so it's going to be hard.
2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Young out of the gun. Gibson is the back. Ball on the 34, snap to Young. Drop, looks, flicks it out to Gibson on the left flank. He'll get over to the 40 and be hit about the 41-yard line. We'll see where they officially mark him. Gibson, the safety valve route on that one, David Turner.
It was. Nice job by Young, being patient, then getting the ball out to Gibson with plenty of room to run. He's going to pick up an easy 5 to 6 yards and put him in nice yardage here in situation, second down.
1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right. Man out of the gun is Cade Young. Gibson flanks him to his right. There's a tight end to the right. That's Travis Pate. Ball on the left hash on 2nd and 4. Young takes the snap. The give is to Gibson. He'll go over left tackle. He's got a first down and plenty more across midfield down to the 43-yard line, and there's a flag after the play as the helmet of one of the Faulkner linemen is on the ground post-play. And he was going to leave, but I think the official stopped him because when the helmet comes off, you've got to leave unless it was taken off outside of the bounds of legal play.
And that's what they're calling with the personal foul there.
So an unsportsmanlike conduct here, or against Bluefield, will advance the ball. Nice long march after a long run by Hunter Gibson. Moves it all the way to the 29-yard line. Out of the gun goes Cade Young. 1 wide left, 2 wide right. Gibson to his left.
Got to watch on the left. He got a one-on-one with Browder in the corner.
Drops, looks, Young surveys, fires. He's got Scott in the end zone. And a one-handed grab as he goes out of the back of the end zone. So I'm guessing the only reason we didn't get a flag there is because the ball went out of the back of the end zone, might have been called uncatchable. But Scott definitely had to fight some extra contact at the top of that route.
Isaiah Scott's one of those receivers we talk about where regardless of who's on him, he's going to be open just because how crisp he is with his routes and how physical he is to get with the defensive backs.
Well, that was a situation as well where he's running a post on that. If he had thrown the ball, a continuation of that post, that was a probably easy 6.
They'll fake it. Nope, they do give it to Cordero Laurent this time. I guess a pitch, so this is a pass play. And he'll be pulled out of bounds at maybe the 24. We'll see where they spot him. Nope, 23. So the gain up to the 23-yard line. That got more than I thought it did when he initially touched the football.
Generous spot.
Yeah, I would say so. 3rd down and 4 now from the 23. Browder wide to the left. Pig and Laurent both in the slot to the left. Scott to the right.
Looks like man coverage on the outside.
No safety over the top. Now he backs over. They've got one-on-one everywhere. Ball deflected, nearly picked off. And Bluefield so lucky because they didn't have a safety back deep. Jalen Browder, I think, tripped over the defensive back as he tried to make his cut in on that route and ended up not able to connect on that one.
I will give Bluefield credit because it also looked like they were trying to make it look like it was cover 0. Then the safety went right back, right at the snap count.
Brock Snyder the hold. Another field goal attempt from Faulkner's career record holder, Alvin Renteria. That one is up. And another one added to the board for the man they call. No. Okay. Fair enough. I can't see from here.
It looked
Clearly.
It looked like it was good, but I can tell it was going a little bit left, so that was kind of questionable, but no good.
Fair enough. They were standing right underneath it. So Alvin Renteria does not add to the board. That was a +0 instead of a +3 for the calculator. Out of the gun now, we'll go verbal. We still with verbal? We're with verbal,
still.
right?
We're with verbal.
Verbal it is. Bryce Verbal, the junior quarterback out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Verbal out of the gun. The snap, the give. He'll go left end and be taken down by Deshaun Love, and 43 also in on the tackle for the Eagles there. That is Shinkoni Lewis. Second and 5, ball on the 28-yard line. What looked to be definite points for Faulkner on that last drive, they failed to put anything on the board, and Bluefield a chance to get right back in the game here. Handoff going across the face of the quarterback on that jet sweep. He's got a first down and a little more, does Christian Quirley, the junior wideout out of Richmond, Virginia. 5'5", low to the ground, hard to hit, and quick at that.
And great field vision by Quirley. For a second, it looked like he didn't have any kind of running room, and he turned up in the field to get a first down for the Rams.
Ball on the 36, first and 10 for Bluefield. 2 wide left, 2 wide right. Verbal out of the gun, 1 back with him. 3 down linemen for the Eagles. Drops, looks, plenty of time. Hits the back and the flat. He juggles it a little bit, and then Deshaun Love juggles him, and it's incomplete, 2nd and 10.
He saw the impending tackle and just couldn't grab the football, and quite frankly, I don't blame him.
No, Love had a head of steam and was coming downhill the whole time. Safeties don't get that kind of a target very often. They don't like to miss them when they have them. Out of the gun goes Verbal. Takes the snap. Screen to the left. Blown up! Is that Aaron Reynolds?
That is Aaron Reynolds. Great way to read that bubble and just shoot right there.
Aaron Reynolds, we hadn't gotten to call his name very much this year, but he made his impact felt that time.
And Deshaun said it. It's a great job fighting through that block, reading the play, and just attacking, getting the loss on the play, setting up Bluefield in a bad situation here on 3rd down.
3rd and 13 from the 33. 4 receivers in the formation, Verbal out of the gun. Faulkner with 5 DBs back at about the 45-yard line. Verbal fires and misses it underneath route. It skips into the hands of the wide receiver, and 4th and 13 will bring the punting unit back onto the field. It was Quirley again, no Ebron.
Griffith pinned the Eagles deep last time. Let's see if he can match that again here on this punt.
Punt is high. Did he get it? He might have gotten a piece of that one.
That was a great punt.
It was.
Pinning them deep for the 2nd time. Now the Eagles have to drive down the field and hopefully try to score this time on their drive again.
And just another great punt. Had pressure in his face, still able to get it off and get the right spin on it where it just hits the ground and rolls right past Scott and out of bounds.
1st down and 10 from the 13-yard line. Faulkner started its last possession at the 12, took it well into Bluefield territory and came away with no points. See what happens on this drive as the Eagles have amassed 72 total yards so far. 2 to the left, 1 to the right are the receivers. The give is to Gibson. Nope, he pulls it, and he will go up to the 19-yard line. A quick gain of 6 for Cade Young.
What's going to be interesting for the Eagles is to see if Cade Young can scheme up the Rams. So far, it looks like they're running a more of a cover 1 look where they roll down 1 safety, and he'll play more of an outside linebacker / rover. And he'll have 1 safety high. So if he can read that, the Eagles probably can scheme him up.
2 wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. Tight end to the left. The back in the backfield is Gibson. The snap into the hands of Young. He'll give it to Gibson. 1st down and plenty more. Gibson shakes that man and dives forward to about the 35-yard line. They'll give him the 36. Nope. Where do they put it? Yep, 36. There we go. We had 2 different spots. Had to see which one was going to win. So ball on the 36-yard line. Gibson with another big run. Just a couple of carries for him, but his impact being felt early on here. And again, you're really going single high safety for Bluefield. And when Gibson gets through that second level of the defense, there's nobody there.
Ooh.
And Young overthrows Scott. I think a little miscommunication on the route, fellas. Scott looks like he was breaking in, and that ball was more of a fade throw.
Also, you gotta give credit where credit is due for the DB. He did more of a jump jam just now where he played 5 yards off, and then he jump jammed him, let the receiver come to him, then let the receiver let it run his route. That'll slow a receiver down each time and mess up the timing with the receiver and quarterback.
You only get that kind of analysis from a guy like Deshaun Bullock. We think he's the best unpaid guy in the business. One receiver to the right, two to the left. Out of the gun goes Cade Young. Don't ask for a raise, Deshaun. Young flanked by Gibson. There's the snap. And he'll pull it. Nice read by Cade Young.
Great
and he'll
read.
take it up across midfield. They'll spot him actually right at the 50-yard line. And Deshaun, you look at Cade Young, and those first couple of games, you could see the rust where he hadn't had live action in a long time. Boy, he's gotten more comfortable every week.
Truly, the game that made me realize his confidence was rising was the Kentucky Christian game. He started running a lot more in that game. He really trusted his receivers, and that was the game that really the game before against Union that put Faulkner's offense with a lot more confidence, but that game really rose the Eagles' confidence a lot more.
Straight drop for Young. Fires. Nobody there. He had Browder in the middle of the field. I think he was looking for him on the left side, and fortunately they do run only one deep safety, so there was nobody to go get that one.
Came up, had double coverage on Scott on the side closest to us here, what would be the right side. And Scott was covered up, but Browder just absolutely wide open in the middle of the field.
Two wide to the right, two wide to the left. Out of the gun is Cade Young. Gibson flanks him. 2nd down and 10. Snap to Young, give to Gibson, bounces off the first man, drives the pads forward and gets up to about the 39-yard line. Good tough run will make it 3rd and 1.
You got to love how Hunter Gibson look. He knows how to read the block. He won't just hit the hole if he knows there's nothing there. Right there, he saw there wasn't really anything there, bounced on the left, and still made something out of nothing.
And you talk about Cade Young getting better every week. Hunter Gibson has gotten better every week as well. Now 3 carries, 42 yards for him in this one. 2 wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. Or rather, let's see. Now we run a double tight set in. 1 wide to either side. Young goes under center. We hadn't seen that all year. He throws the jump ball down the sideline and overthrows it. He had one-on-one Jalen Browder. Just a little off on the touch on that one.
Exactly what they were looking for, getting that one-on-one matchup on the outside with the big receiver Browder there. Just, you said it, overthrew it a couple of yards, but it was there, and I think we're going to see them go to that because it seems that they're running this one deep safety look, bringing that extra safety in, try to stop this run game. So I think the more they run the football, the more they're going to open up those opportunities on the outside.
4th and 1, you don't call that play on 3rd and 1 unless you plan on going for it on 4th down, and they do. And when you got Hunter Gibson, that's why.
There you go.
First down and plenty more. And so what does it do for an offense, David, when you know you need a yard, you got a back like Hunter Gibson, you can take a shot on 3rd and 1 and try to catch him asleep because you're so confident in 4th and 1?
It means everything because you know you've got that extra play. You know you've always got it in your back pocket. You know you got a guy that can finish a run. Just like there, he was hitting the backfield. He's able to escape, and he picks up, 10 yards on the run and sets him up for first down here at the 31-yard line.
2 wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. Charles Blackman is in at the tailback spot now. The snap, drop, looks. He's in trouble. Shakes, trying to get away from the defender. He can't do it. The sack of Cade Young by number 99. That is Jackson Charlton Perrin, the 6'3", 315-pound sophomore. Behind the sticks now on 2nd and 15, but you look at this team, we've talked about they were still kind of looking for an identity. They needed that number one, that go-to, that fastball, as it were. And I think they found that Hunter Gibson is that over the last couple of weeks, and that's allowed this offense to really flourish. Trips right, 1 left. Young out of the gun on 2nd and 15. The snap to give to Blackman. He'll try the middle of the defense. Not much room to run that time. Get him up to the 33-yard line, a gain of 3. And now You don't have a ton of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 12. Let's see what you come up with here.
You got to try to pick up a few yards, get yourself in better field goal position, and get that kicking unit on there. So you've got to be looking for something probably over in the middle of the field in the pass game here on a slant.
4 wides in the formation. Gibson back in there to the right of Young.
Looks like we'll see Bluefield in that 2-man.
Drop. Look, man, right there, and it will be punting situation for Faulkner as big number 92, Kashawn Ridgel, 5'10", 250-pound sophomore, got his hand on Cade Young and wouldn't let go.
Nice job up front by Bluefield getting that push and then coming back over with the stunt twist and just right in Young's face before he has any time to do anything with the football.
The twist is the most frustrating thing for an offensive lineman, especially when you're in the pass set and you don't know which guy you got to take.
Yeah.
The punt coming from Caden Davis on 4th and 20. So twice now Bluefield has allowed Faulkner deep into Ram territory, and twice they've held, and Caden Davis can't put that one inside the 20. It'll be a touchback, and Bluefield will take over. So credit this Bluefield defense. They very easily could be down 3 scores. They're down just 1 because they've held when they needed to.
Also, we can credit, it really started off with the special teams as well, pinning them deep twice to make Faulkner drive deep. And then also with the DBs really having great technique and up front, the stunts and getting to the quarterback twice. That'll help you every time.
1st down and 10 for Bluefield. Trips to the right, 1 to the left. Out of the gun is Verbal. 2 deep safeties for Faulkner. The give is to the back, and he is cut down. That looks like 34 on the run for Bluefield. That's Latravius Johnson, 5'8", 227-pound bowling ball of a freshman.
That's a big boy coming at you through that line.
2nd down and 6. Twins to either side. Man out of the gun is Verbal. Johnson flanks him. The give is to Johnson again. And that is Mario Davis Jr. that grabs hold of Johnson and just eventually is able to dog him down. Make it 3rd and about 2 or so.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give him the ball again. Only 3rd and 2. Big bowling ball. You can keep pushing it with them.
Faulkner showing blitz. Now they'll back out of there. As an audible call from Bluefield here. The snap, looks, fires on the screen, look. He's got the 1st down and a little bit more up to about the 34-yard line. Who's the number on the catch that time? I think it's 19, Antonio Strickland on the catch.
It's got to be 19. 18 is Griffith, the kicker.
Yep, so Antonio Strickland, the 6', 185-pound senior wideout. Trips left, 1 right, out of the gun again goes Verbal. Low snap, picks it up, feeds Johnson. Johnson stacked up and just now goes down. They'll give him the 36. The low snap disrupted the timing on that one.
A great job by that defensive line, catching him as soon as he really got to the line, making it where he's not going to get a big gain and have a big hole to find his way through.
Twins left, Twins right, out of the gun is Verbal. Looks, fires, and caught across midfield to about the 48, now the 47-yard line. That's number 10 on the catch.
It's
19, not 10. I apologize. The jersey kind of rolled up in the back a little bit. That's Antonio Strickland.
What we don't give Bluefield credit for, they're a great running team, but what they're also great at is those short/intermediate passes that can get you those 1st downs to drive the field.
Verbal on the screen, hits his man across the 45 down to the 43-yard line. That is Lowell Patron again. 6'1", 206-pound wide receiver. Trips to the right, 1 to the left. Verbal out of the gun. Bluefield. Good pace on this drive. 30 seconds left here in the 1st quarter. The snap, drops, all kinds of time, throws it up. Man-to-man coverage, and Aaron Reynolds gets his head around and finds the football and breaks it up.
Great technique by Aaron Reynolds. Realized where the ball was at and turned his head, because if he didn't, they could have called a flag. But also, another technique that most DB coaches teach that what he just used, his arm was on the receiver. You have your best friend as in your other teammate of the sideline. That is the 12th man. He used him to also push him out of bounds.
Out of the gun again goes Verbal. Trips right, one left. Single high safety for the Eagles in this defensive set. The snap, drop, pressure coming. Fires to the right, man-to-man coverage. Incomplete, intended once again for Strickland. Let's go back to Aaron Reynolds, Deshaun. He's a guy that spent time at corner and safety and now back at corner. And he's a 6'4", really long athlete. What has enabled him to make that move back? Because he can be so disruptive as a 6'4" corner.
His technique, he has great technique everywhere he goes. So it's really hard not to put him at corner, because when you play certain teams that have those kind of receivers, you're going to need that height out there. His technique at corner is unmatched.
4th down and 6. The punting unit on the field for Bluefield. 16 seconds remain in the quarter. Griffith gets that one up. Meadows won't get to it. It'll check up. And he gets the bounce to pin him on the coffin corner back around the 8-yard line. And with 8 seconds to go in the first quarter, Faulkner back in the shadow of its own goal line again.
That's a weapon when you've got a guy who can do that the way that Griffin has done that in this ball game. He's made it incredibly difficult for the Eagles to start these possessions deep in their own territory.
So Tanner Griffith, another good punt for him. 3rd time in a row that Faulkner starts inside its own 20. The last 2 times they've driven it down inside the 25 of Bluefield and come away with no points. Twins left, one right. Out of the gun goes Young. Gibson is the back, tight end to the right. Timeout signaled by the official. He needed to raise the roof. We'll come right back now as the clock had to be reset. Young awaits the snap. LaRon across his face. Gives to Gibson. No, pulls it out, and he was looking for the slant. Browder never got around his defender, and the safety, with his eyes up, would have a pick six on that one.
Mm-hmm. Browder never looked at the ball. The defender never looked at the ball. The only person looking at the ball was the guy who threw it.
We got to give credit to Merrick Banks. These last 2 drives, he has had the best technique as far as really being physical. Especially, he's done his homework on Jalen Browder. Jalen Browder is a very physical receiver. You got to get physical with the first, so he's done his homework.
Twins right, one left. Out of the gun, the give to Gibson. Gibson will try left guard. Not a lot of room there. He'll get stacked up right about the 11 or 12. We'll see where they officially put the spot. That's going to end the first quarter of play. The spot looks like it will be on the 12-yard line. 7-0 Eagles. They face a 3rd and 6 when we come back on the Faulkner Sports Network. Back here live, Crampton Bowl, Faulkner Sports Network, presentation of Faulkner Eagle football. 7-0 Eagles leading Bluefield right now, but they face a 3rd and 6 on their own 12-yard line. When you talk about Griffith pinning Faulkner back, this would be a big-time field-flipping stop for Bluefield if they can hold the Eagles here. Twins to the right, Twins to the left. Gibson flanks Young. Snap to Young, drops, looks, throws it over to Cordero Laurent, and he gets just enough, gets across the sticks and sits down on that route to Sean Bullock. Make sure that he makes that catch, and it's a first down for the Eagles.
Definitely a first down. Laurent is one of those guys. He will stem you and make you think that he's covered, and once he breaks off on that route, he's so quick on really breaking off.
Twins right, Twins left again. Out of the gun goes Cade Young. Gibson is the back. The snap to Young, gives it to Gibson. He'll try the left guard. He'll get a few up to about the 24-yard line, make it 2nd down and 6 now. And, Deshaun, you talk about Cordero Laurent, a senior in this program, playing his last game here today. He comes in and is really very early on in his career one of the favorite targets of Mason Blocker. You get the Blocker injury. He's played with Blocker. He's played with Snyder. He played, I believe, with Jace Fisher for a little while. Mm-hmm. And now with Cade Young. That's a really difficult thing on a receiver to change quarterbacks that much.
Really difficult, but his leadership is what's really helped him out with staying here, and also really kept the receiving core up as well, because it really brings the receiving core down when you keep going through different receivers, especially for any receivers who's had to deal with situations like he has. But he always keeps everyone up. That's what's going to be missed about him next season.
So we've got a man down after the Cade Young keeper. It is a Bluefield player that they are checking on. Teams will head to the sideline. So we'll pause for just a moment here on the Faulkner Sports Network. Twins left, Twins right. Cade Young will go out of the gun as we're ready to resume play here. And we're going to wind the clock at some point, we presume. Bluefield player was able to walk off with minimal assistance, so that was a good sign.
What are we waiting for, bud?
The white hat surveys the landscape. It's turf. It's not going to grow.
You're the one that gets to start this thing, bud.
Nor does he get paid by the hour, so
He's just taking a stroll right now.
Is he waiting long enough to make sure that the full moon is here by halftime? Shout out to Full Moon Barbecue, one of our sponsors. They're helping us out on short notice, providing dinner for all of our workers tonight.
He wants 25 seconds. Tell him 25.
All right, so they're going to move the clock to 13:46. It was 13:41, which was accurate.
Yep.
Now they've moved it to 13:49.
Nope, that's very cool.
So a free 8 seconds.
Good thing we got that.
You could ride a bull in that time. Twins left, Twins right. Out of the gun goes Young. Nope, now we're running it. There we go. He drops, looks, fires, hits Isaiah Scott, and he can't catch it, and there's a flag. In the area of a defensive holding, as Laurent was looking around, and the referee just soccered the flag forward just a little. Laurent is signaling that it was a defensive hold. They'll go with the pass interference or the holding. Automatic first down either way.
Either way, yeah.
So all of that playing with the clock. 13:38 remaining here in the second quarter. Twins left, one right. Now Jacob Pigg will walk back out into the slot. So 4 wide here. Young awaits the snap. Man in motion across his face, fakes the jet to Laurent. Fires down the sideline, Isaiah Scott. Now he's going to turn on the Jets, and he does. Isaiah Scott to the house, 64 yards for the man from Linden, Alabama, and Faulkner's up 13-0.
Rule number 1, when guarding Isaiah Scott, do not run even with him and do not leave him open because he's going to score regardless. Once he turns those Jets on, it's over.
Rule number 1, when throwing to Isaiah Scott, don't miss him. You'll never hear the end of it. Cade Young hit that one. And Isaiah will tell you. A touchdown for Isaiah Scott from Cade Young, 64 yards, 13-0 Eagles. Alvin Renteria will kick out of the hold of Brock Snyder. That one up and good. We'll hold it here. David Turner, they had taken shots several times in the first half, unable to connect on anything. And then he finds Scott down the sideline, and Isaiah does the rest for him.
Yeah, just caught the defensive back taking a peek inside, probably expecting that jet sweep action with Cordero Laurent, one of the first times they haven't given him the ball on that action. And then they fire it deep, and Scott was just absolutely wide open going down the sideline. And both of you said it, as soon as he catches the ball, it's going to the house unless you've got somebody right there.
So 14-0 your score, 13:29 remaining in this second quarter of play. Isaiah Scott with the touchdown is nearing 1,000 yards for his career. He had 904 coming into today. He's got 86 now, so he's 10 yards away from the 1,000-yard mark in his career. Just a sophomore, and he'll get this year back. Ball on the tee at the 35-yard line. Renteria sends that one back. Fielded. No, he goes through his hands. He'll pick it up at the 4. He'll get it to the 10, and now down at the 11. So a 7-yard return, but the miscatch on the kick pins Bluefield back deep, and we'll see if the Faulkner defense smells a little blood here.
You've got to take advantage of it when you got a mistake like that on a return. And with the new rules in college football on the kickoffs, if you're standing at the 10, I don't know why you just don't fair catch the thing and you get the ball at the 25 and just start there every play, every time.
That's very valid.
Twins to the left, or rather trips to the left, one to the right. Verbal out of the gun. The snap, the give is to Johnson. He'll run over the first man, and it takes a couple of helpers to take him down. Guys, I don't think I'd want to take Johnson on one-on-one.
Not at all. Not at all.
I would try to go for the ankle. I would try to take the ankle out. Ankle biter.
Deshaun Bullock is on the highlight tape of multiple NFL players, so he knows a lot about this.
Difference is that I didn't even get to touch him. I didn't catch him.
That's right. 3 down linemen, 4 wide. There is the give, and Johnson's knee hits the ground pretty quickly that time.
It's called a business decision. You get
That's right. So if you'll go look up some highlight tapes, Deshaun's played against Cam Akers, Kylan Hill. A lot of good backs come out of the state of Mississippi. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Out of the gun is Verbal.
Got to watch that under Sam over Mike route for that slot.
Now backing out. Now the blitz will come from Story.
Nice.
And he hits it, puts it in the middle. How in the world, 1, was that not caught, and 2, was it not picked after the deflection? The ball lands harmlessly on the turf, and 4th down will bring the punting unit back out for Bluefield.
Just a nice route, getting that little curl right inside. just outside the linebackers and inside the corners, finding that little spot seam.
Well, and credit Verbal, it wasn't caught, but that is such a timing throw.
It is.
And he hit it right on the spot. Punter back on his own 4-yard line, now backs up to the 3. Faulkner looks like they're going after it. Now they'll back out, and they got it.
There it is.
There
it
is. 13. Aaron Reynolds picks it up. That is his 3rd punt block touchdown of his career. He had 2 in one game last year. Who is 36 that got that one? That's Judson Hoagland. We have got Fandemonium
in the Crampton Bowl.
There is a very excited older gentleman. All right.
Now, that drive overall did start with Judson Hoagland. He went off the kickoff when he tackled him at the 10. Now getting that block, getting the touchdown. I mean, that goes to Judson overall.
I got a feeling that this excited gentleman down here may be related to Judson Hoagland.
I think so.
He was quite excited. Extra point up and good, 21-0, the lead after the Alvin Renteria kick. But you talked about it for Faulkner. Bluefield starts that drive at their own 11. Does the defense smell blood there? And they go after it on the punt. Hoagland blocks it. Reynolds recovers it. It's an easy 7 for the Faulkner special teams unit.
I mean, the one thing about the Faulkner special teams, that's something that they haven't gotten a lot of that this year compared to the previous years where they get a lot of blocks. But this year, what we just saw, you have to go for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The punter's in his own shadow of his own goalpost. You've got to go after that punt and try to make something out of it. And you know what? If you don't get it, the worst you can do is call for a fair catch and move on with life.
Speaking of the shadows, it's interesting that you see the entire outline of the press box now casting a shadow over the field. So large chunks of the field you're playing in direct sunlight. Other chunks you're not. That's got to play with the quarterback's vision a little bit.
Plays with the receivers as well too, trying to catch that ball coming out of the sun or coming out of the shadow into the sun. So it's difficult on both parts.
The return caught at the 3-yard line by number 3, Lowell Patron. And he'll take it up to the 23-yard line. And Patron is slow to get up. Teammates will pull him to his feet. So Bluefield at its own 23-yard line. Faulkner up 21-0, 11:57 to go in the second quarter. Verbal will go out of the gun. Twin receivers to either side. Johnson is the back. The snap, fakes the give, looks, and sacked Mario Davis Jr. somehow. And so you're going to get a holding call, and that is salt in the wound when your guy gets the sack and your flag for the holding.
Pretty much as bad as it could go on an offensive lineman in one play.
Mario Davis Jr., 2 sacks last week. And Deshaun, we talked about Faulkner's not generating pass rush out of the down linemen, but they've been mixing these hybrid linebackers in the blitz so much that it has created some pass rush. Mario Davis is a big part of that.
He's a guy with speed, and that Coach Goodrum is a guy who will tell you, you don't have to have technique when you have that much speed. Just use your speed to get right past him and get to the quarterback. That is your only assignment.
3 down lineman here as Verbal drops, looks, fires, nobody there, and
nice
down.
job.
Really nice job that time by Nikel Robinson. I thought that ball was going to find the turf rather easily, and then all of a sudden the receiver breaks inside the defensive back, and you got a dangerous throw here. Nikel Robinson, a great play, David Turner.
Absolutely a great play. Comes over the top of the receiver, just knocks it down before he has an opportunity to even make a play on it, because that was potentially 6 if that ball is in the right spot.
Twins left, Twins right. Verbal throws, finds his man, and he can't catch it. Incomplete, and the punting unit's going to have to come out again.
Now, there we saw the Eagles in that stinger look, which is their 5 DB look. Not sure if they were using a cloud look, which one DB comes down, but it looked like we saw a missed assignment where somebody was supposed to be right there.
Now, as Bluefield readies to punt this one away, guys, your yardage differential, 126 yards total offense for Faulkner. Or rather, 200. I apologize. I was looking at just the passing yards. 200 total yards for Faulkner on 25 plays. 55 yards on 22 plays for Bluefield. And we'll stop the clock. Delay a game against Bluefield makes a bad situation worse. They'll walk that one back to the 11-yard line, make it 4th and 22, and you got to feel like Faulkner may be willing to go after another one here.
Oh, he's about to send them. You can tell how they're lined up. He's sending them.
Now you just got to not run into the kicker.
Too eager.
6.
All right, we're going to get another flag here.
We'll fix it.
Never mind the previous penalty. We're just going to go right back to where we were.
All right, 4th and 17. Once again. So we got the delay of game, followed by the offsides, and now Faulkner showing that they're going after it again. Isaiah Scott back deep. The snap. There he goes. Can't get to that one. And it is picked up by Scott. He jukes the first man, jukes the second. Scott falls forward, bounces off a tackler, and a really good return up to the 39-yard line. A lot of times you see a guy pick the ball up off the hop. He's got no space. He gets nothing. Scott able to slither through that time.
You know what's funny? Actually, I had an instant conversation with Isaiah last night. We was talking, and he said when he sees the ball like that, all he needs is a little bit of space, and he can make something out of nothing. He doesn't matter if it's 10 yards, 15 yards. As long as he'll still receive it, he's not going to let that ball roll because that's something you can't do.
Ball on the 39-yard line. Twins right, one left. Tight end to the right. Out of the gun goes Cade Young. 11-16 and counting here in the opening half. Young, the snap. Fakes it to Gibson. Finds Jalen Browder. Browder on that slant route. Able to get up to about the 19-yard line.
Good job by Browder getting inside the defensive back, getting those shoulders inside and squaring him up to the target and making himself an easy throw for Young. He finds him right before he gets to that safety.
It's definitely going to be hard once you get the shoulders inside as a DB.
24-yard line, not 19-yard line. It's going the other direction in my head. It's okay. I was told there would be no math. 1 left, 3 right. Young out of the gun. Takes the snap. There's the give to Gibson. And he'll spin through the first tackle, get it up to about the 16-yard line. That'll make it second. They've changed the board to first, and now they've fixed it. Second and about 2.
It's already about 68 yards on the ground for Hunter Gibson here in the first half.
And only 7 carries. 3 right, 1 left. Young out of the gun again. Man in motion across his face, and he'll toss it to Browder. That is a pass play, and Browder will get a yard up to the 15-yard line.
Well, he would have lost about 4 yards if it weren't for the block by Hunter Gibson in the backfield. Defender was in the right place. Gibson steps up, makes a great block to allow Browder any room to go anywhere.
Well, and you talk about that. You see Gibson, obviously the big back. They like to go to him on first and second down. The ability to block like that really gives him the potential to be a 3-down back moving forward. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Young out of the gun again. Gibson flanks him to his left. The snap. The give to Gibson. Got a first down inside the 10-yard line to the 9. Gain of 6 that time. Gibson had the first 100-yard game of his career last season.
Or last week.
Or last week. Sure. It feels like a season ago if you know the week I've had. Two receivers to the right. Tight end to the left. Gibson is the back. Scott in motion. He will give it to Gibson. And Deshaun Bullock, what are you watching for as a defensive player? At that mesh point, you've got the jet sweep, you've got the dive, you've got the keeper, and you're not real sure what's coming.
Honestly, when you're a DB stand on that outside, you have no receiver, and you see a jet sweep that could possibly happen or a dive or anything else, at this point, this is where you have to trust your teammates. Communication is key, and where they say play the gaps and stay home, that's where you got to be smart.
Second down and goal from the 2. 2 wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. Gibson is the back. Tight end Pate on the right side. That is a give to Gibson, and he is stacked up. And that was one of those, maybe they should have gone on the jet to Jacob Pig because nobody picked him up.
I think on that, with that, Pig is more is used as a decoy, and at that point, Bluefield had great discipline, knowing that they're not going to give him the sweep. That's just really watching film. So on that, great job by Bluefield to stay home and understand the run was coming right back.
Hunter Mosley in, Jacob Pig out. 3rd and goal from the 1. Scott and Browder to the right. Scott in motion across the face. The give is to Gibson again, and a touchdown for Hunter Gibson. I haven't seen a signal yet.
They send it on the far side.
All right, so the far side guy had it. The guy on this sideline is going, I don't really know what's going on. So Hunter Gibson punches it in. 27-0 is the Faulkner lead. Still 7:15 to go in the first half, David Turner.
Yeah, still a long way to go here in the first half, but this game, it potentially could be a lot worse than it is now. We talked about those 3 stops on the other end of the field by Bluefield, and kick is up and good by Renteria.
So Alvin Renteria will make it 28-0.
But we've seen the stop by Bluefield on 3 separate occasions, and yet the block punt was really a big thing for the touchdown to kind of get that momentum really going here for the Eagles, and they've just kind of stepped on the throat to this point anyway.
Yeah, that felt Deshaun Bullock. That block punt picked up in the end zone for the touchdown felt like the Nate Robinson goodnight Irene moment of this ballgame.
Oh, man, that took everything out right there. That's where you see those spirituals.
28-0 your score. 7:15 to play in the second quarter. Alvin Renteria will kick it away for the Eagles. If you're Bluefield, though, on the other side, yes, it's 28-0, but you got to not play the scoreboard here, and you just got to execute your offense.
It's a lot of football to be played still. 7:15 in the second quarter, and you have a whole other half. If you treat this like the game's over, game's going to be over, and they can run the score up.
And defensively, they have not played bad. They gave up the 1 long pass to Scott and a couple of other plays, but they've been in this ball game defensively.
They'll fair catch this kickoff. Get the ball at the 25-yard line.
David, you got your wish.
I mean, if the rule's there in your favor, just take advantage of it.
So we'll see Bluefield's plan of attack here. Down 28-0. Not in a big hurry to come off the sideline is that offense.
Biggest thing you've got to think for Bluefield is they want to see some kind of drive, a sustained drive here offensively. Try to get some points on the board. Even if it's a field goal, that gets you something and a little bit of momentum going your way.
The original guy.
Number 11, Josh Nelson, who was originally listed as the starter on the 2 deep, a freshman. He will throw, that is by a lateral, that is a running play, as he throws it behind him. And it is caught by Antonio Strickland, I believe. So Strickland will get a yard or 2. We'll see where they officially put him. Up 3 yards, all the way up to the 28-yard line. Josh Nelson freshman, is the quarterback for Bluefield. He is from Forest, Virginia. The snap. He'll give it to the back here. He'll try the middle of that Faulkner defense and get a solid run up to about the 32, 33-yard line. Third down and 2. Trips to the left, one to the right for Nelson. The snap, the give. He'll try right at the sticks. He'll be corralled, but the second effort got him there. It's a first down for Bluefield.
A good job by the offensive line coming up and helping him a little bit, make sure they get that first down and can move the sticks.
It wasn't that long ago, David, that was not allowed, and it definitely has changed the game a little bit.
It absolutely does, especially on the goal line. You start, hey, just give the ball to the back, and then everybody, all your offensive linemen circle back behind him and just start pushing.
Antonio Strickland, one of the starters at wideout, has been running tailback in this drive. He heads off the field and appears to be injured. So they're going to bring Johnson, number 34, Latravius Johnson, back in the game. 3 wide right, 1 wide left. Nelson out of the gun. The snap, looks, has his man. Malik Meadows gets there, as does number 35 for this Faulkner defense. That is Devontae Agee.
And great way by Meadows, great technique just to sit there, understand it's a hitch route. As a DB, when you see that, you'll live with every short route. Just come up and tackle.
Ball on the 39-yard line. Trips left, 1 right, out of the gun. The snap, the give. Johnson corralled by Mario Davis Jr. That'll get him up to the 43. Johnson is a guaranteed 3 yards every time he touches the football.
And for an offense, that's really what you need. You need at least 3 each time, and then you get the third down, convert.
Twins right, twins left. Out of the gun, again goes Nelson. The snap, looks, man-to-man coverage on the outside. Overton Gates is there. I think he broke it up with his helmet.
That's another technique, again, as we saw with Aaron Reynolds, where you use your 12th man to make sure he doesn't stay in bounds, because great catch, but he's out of bounds.
Yep. And the whole time he's just pushing him to that sideline, making him have to work and watch the feet as much as he is the ball.
So another punt coming from Bluefield as Griffith is back out again. And that one nearly blocked again by Justin Hoagland, who ran free in the middle. Listen, there's a couple things Hoagland has done that are not showing up in the stat sheet, but that's at least 2 other punts that he has been really close to getting a hand on, in addition to the one that he blocked.
I think what I'm seeing now is Coach Fuller is for sure is telling Hoagland, go every time, because he can get it each time. So that is not going to show up on the stat sheet. But when you look at a guy, especially towards the end of the season, that you'll want to have back next season to say, how can I use him again, and what made him stand out? That's one of those things right there.
And it's interesting. They're just sending him straight up the middle. It's not coming off the edge. It is coming right down the pipe.
And clearly they've seen something on film. First down and 10 from their own 22-yard line. Browder out wide to the left, 2 wide receivers to the right. Pate, the tight end, to the left. Charles Blackman is the tailback. Officials having a conversation. Now conversation between the white hat and the Bluefield coach on the other side. All right. That was not the Bluefield coach that he was talking to. I think that's our own Murray Wilson, who runs the operations here at Crampton Bowl. And listen, it's been an odd thing for us being at Crampton Bowl, turf not fixed at Billy D. Hillier Stadium yet. But Murray Wilson and his crew with Montgomery Parks and Rec could not have made this any better of an experience. They have been incredible for us all year long. We wanted to give that shout out, and this was a good time to acknowledge that. And
What's going on?
let's see if we can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, we have the trainer on the field.
The trainer comes out to have a discussion with the white hat. That is our own Rachel Alterio, our head trainer.
I think it's got to be a health issue with one of the officials.
We'll see where we go from here. Rachel Alterio will return to the Faulkner sideline. Well, it's the last game of the year. It's time to get all the unrecognized people out there. Murray Wilson, Rachel Alterio. Out of the gun goes Young. 4:19 remaining. The snap. The give. Up the middle is Charles Blackman. He's got some running room. If he can find his feet, he can go, and he never could really recover after that first contact, but what a run by Charles Blackman to get it up to the 46-yard line.
Charles Blackman, another guy, when he hits that hole, and he gets going, if he would have, like you just said, if he would have found his footing, there's no catching him.
No.
And we talked about it last week. This offense, if you've got a one-cut back, it works fantastic. And Blackman is a one-cut back.
Yeah, and especially against a single high safety, if he gets to that level, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
The snap, drops, looks. Cade Young got to get it out of his hand, and he does. And that's going to be a defensive hold here as Cordero Laurent hit the deck.
What are you doing?
So Laurent had two defenders in the area, and now he's got two flags in the area where he went down.
Yeah, LeBron had two defenders on him. Browder coming across the middle on the post had nobody on him, nothing but green grass or turf in this case in front of him.
Okay, they're going to pick up the flag.
What?
Are they? Let's see.
What?
Looks like it.
So I guess they're going to go uncatchable and wave off the flag. Second down and 10. Twins left, one right. Young out of the gun. Blackman's the back. Pate's the tight end on the left. Cade Young takes the snap. Give to Blackman. There he goes. Blackman with a first down run, a gain of about 12 yards.
And there it is, hitting the hole again, and then having that one cut showing. I mean, this offense really, it really works, especially like you said with the one high safety. It's going to be an advantage every time.
Blackman checks out, 47 yards or so on 3 carries for him now. Trips left, one right. Gibson's the back. Young out of the gun, 3:09 and counting. Play clock down to 7. He'll get the snap, drops, looks, scrambles, fires, jump ball. Browder goes over the defensive back.
No.
If he had caught that, we were clipping it for top plays immediately. Jalen Browder jumped in completely over the defensive back but couldn't get all the way back to the football.
And hit by his own man, Isaiah Scott, coming for the ball on the other side, and I think that's really what caused him to drop it.
If he would have caught that, I didn't even have a reaction just now, but I was in awe. That would have been one of the top catches that I've seen.
At any level.
Yes.
All right, 2nd and 10. 1 left, 2 right. Out of the gun is Young. Man in motion is Pig. Give is to Blackman. There he goes. Runs, lowers the shoulder, and finishes the run strong down to the 18-yard line. Or rather, the 23. And now you get a flag. So the run went to the 23, enough for a first down. We'll see where they go from here. All that was extracurricular, so the result of the play should stand, and then we'll see. Unsportsmanlike against Faulkner. Listen, you get the spirit of competition, but you're up 28-0. There's no reason for you to do anything really dumb and reactionary up 28-0.
You gotta understand. First of all, you gotta understand you're up, and secondly, if you don't want to hear from Coach Watson, that is something that you don't want to do because he will let you know about that. That is something that he just doesn't tolerate.
So it is a first down. The result of the carry for Charles Blackman does count, but a post-play penalty backs it up, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 38. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Young out of the gun. Drops, looks, time, throws. Browder wide open in the end zone, touchdown. Dropped it in the breadbasket, and Jalen Browder makes it 34-0. Cade Young didn't miss him that time.
There's laundry on the field back at about the 43-yard line.
All right, so what you think you saw, you did not see. We'll bring it back.
And it is a hold.
Just when you thought they got it right, you got a hold in.
This is beginning to feel like a keeping it close kind of drive.
And I was about to say Young had all day to throw the football, and now we know why.
Now we know why he had all day, yeah.
I was like, he had a lot of time.
He did have a lot of time. So the refs saw something down there. So make it 1st and 20. You got tape on it, Jalen Browder. It just won't show up in the stats.
You could put it on your highlight tape, though.
You can. Two almost touchdowns for Jalen Browder this drive. Now the ball's back at the 48-yard line. 1st and 20. 3 receivers in the formation. Give is to Blackman. Blackman dances, fights, gets down to about the 43-yard line. Gain of 5 for Blackman. Give him 63 yards on 5 carries. Two receivers wide to the right, 1 to the left. Young out of the gun again. 151 and counting in the half. 2nd and 15. Man in motion. Give is to Blackman, pulls it out, finds Scott. Scott off to the races, shakes one man, and somehow falls rather ungracefully but still impressively forward to the 15-yard line, or the 14-yard line.
Fell on top of the defensive back and kept rolling, was able to keep enough balance to allow himself to at least spin and somewhat twirl his way to the 14.
And we see another flag.
Again, another flag.
This drive is becoming a drive that they do not want to remember, especially if that's on them. But it's not.
Did they pick the flag up?
All right, so they will pick the flag up, or it's something that Faulkner declined. Either way, the ball's on the 14. The Isaiah Scott catch stands. He goes over 100 yards and over 1,000 in his career now. 1 wide to the right, 2 wide to the left. Out of the gun goes Cade Young. Blackman is the back. Pig in motion. Give to Blackman, pulls it out, finds Jalen Browder.
Hey.
No laundry. This one counts.
He finally got his touchdown.
34-0 is the lead.
Again, nice job. Single coverage on that outside. He's just able to get inside, square his shoulders, and make himself an easy target for the quarterback, the 6'3", 195-pound receiver. That's a pretty easy target to find.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Renteria to add the extra point. Up and good. 35-0. Faulkner leads, 1:20 to go in the half. We pause. Faulkner Sports Network.
But if they don't get it, they're going to just settle and run the ball, try to get the clock down as much as they can.
Trips left, one right, one out of the gun. The snap, the give. Johnson stacked up on the left side at the 28-yard line.
42, 24, 53.
Twins wide left, one wide right. Now a second one out wide to the right, so you'll have four receivers with 55 seconds remaining in the half. The snap, the give. Johnson stacked up, taken down at the 28-yard line. Clock running inside 40 seconds now.
Interesting. The Eagles not using their timeouts.
Now up 35-0, not trying to play any extra snaps here in this first half. Content to let Bluefield run the clock. 3rd and 7. Be interested to see if Bluefield goes to the air here or if they get it to half.
They run the ball. They don't have to punt.
Snap. Give to Johnson. And he'll get near first down yards, and the ball's out. They'll say he's down. Ball on the 34, and that'll do it for the half. So Bluefield gets it to the 34, and the half ticks down to 0. As we head to break, 342 yards of total offense for the Eagles so far in this one. 22 carries for 157 yards, 10 of 18 through the air for 185 yards. Gentlemen, all Faulkner in the first half.
It absolutely is, and the biggest thing that we've noticed from this offense is no turnovers. That's been something that's kind of plagued them for the last few weeks. So the turnovers, we haven't seen any of those here. At this point in the ball game, the offense has been crisp and the defense has played well, and we'll see if that continues here in the second half.
I'm going to check with our producer, Buddy Bagsby. Are we good to go on the halftime show for the band? We are. Listen, our Faulkner Eagle Marching Band worked all off season to put together a field show, their traditional halftime show. Due to COVID restrictions, they have been unable to perform that show, but we were able to get footage of that show. They made a video of their halftime show. We wanted to be able to put that out there for people to see. So we're going to send you to the Faulkner Eagle Marching Band halftime show on the Faulkner Sports Network. We're back in about 20 minutes.
of the Fine Arts Department, we present for your halftime entertainment, Faulkner University Marching Eagles. This year's show, once again, is a mix of some of the finest Latin jazz and love songs. So journey with us south of the border for this Grammy-winning Latin jazz hit from composer-trumpeter Chuck Mangione, The Children of Sanchez. The Marching Eagles percussion section is featured on the first of two songs we've included from the Broadway and movie hit show West Side Story, a 1950s retelling of the age-old love story of Romeo and Juliet. Please enjoy the Latin dance hit, America! Victor Lopez is a highly acclaimed composer, arranger, and music educator. He has penned this hot Latin piece played by bands everywhere. We invite you to enjoy the talent and the skill of the Faulkner Color Guard as the band plays Havana Express. Closing out our show this afternoon is the beautiful and emotional ballad from West Side Story, reminding us that even in the most difficult times, there is hope, for there's a place for us somewhere.
Welcome back live to Crampton Bowl. 15 minutes on the third quarter clock, the ball on the tee. 35-0 Faulkner leads. Alvin Renteria will kick it away. He'll send that one back deep. Caught at the 8. The return is on to the 15, 20, 25. He'll be tackled right around the 30-yard line. Last one up off the pile was 28, Vashawn Jackson. All right, guys. 35-0 ball game into the season for both of these teams. How much are we trying to get it to the house, and how much are we trying to run some things to get ready for the offseason?
If I were Bluefield, you got to imagine they're trying to get to the house. They got a long drive ahead of them, so let's try to get this over with and move forward with life. And we may see a few things out of the Eagles here in the second half as far as next man up kind of situation, and see what you've got coming into next year.
Nelson throws, tipped alive, incomplete. 4 blue helmets in the area for Faulkner. None of them could find the football off that deflection.
Alex Dawson was radared in for that hit. Otherwise, he could have had
another one.
Yeah, another interception going the other way.
Dawson near the top of the rankings in the country in interceptions.
If I remember right, 4 on the season so far.
Correct.
Yeah. 2 wide to either side. Nelson out of the gun. The snap, drops, throws it into the flat, and nice open field tackle that time for Faulkner. Number 30 on the stop for the Eagles, fellas.
Great tackle by McNeely. Those are one of those kind of tackles where you don't have to make the big hit. When you do a lot of open field tackle drills in practice, it's all about wrapping them up. That is something that a lot of coaches really emphasize, but it's not really being emphasized as much anymore because a lot of people want to go for that big hit. Wrap them up. That's just basic things.
3rd down and 7, thrown back into the flat, going the other way. He's got a first down and then some across midfield. Tackle made by number 26 on the play for the Eagles, and that is Deshaun Love, one of the seniors.
Strickland on the catch does a good job with picking up a good chunk of yards after he makes that catch, picking up the blockers.
Trips left, 1 right. 1 man out of the gun. Nelson, the snap. Stop made by number 44, Phillip Russell. Russell, a transfer from Jacksonville State, has been very good for the Eagles this year.
He's really brought in that depth for the Eagles as well, and his fiery attitude really helps because he knows how to get the other players fired up, and the way he plays, I mean, he's not all talk.
2nd down and 8. Trips left, 1 right. Out of the gun again goes Nelson. We're dancing around for a little bit, and the play clock expired. Did we get a timeout here? Nope, a flag. So a delay of game penalty. We have some clarity as to the confusion that took place in the first half. Apparently, the flag, not the only yellow out there on the field. We have had some intestinal experiences. 2nd down and 13. The snap. Nelson throws to the flat, cuts back to the inside, does the receiver. That's Strickland back out there. Ball on the 44-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd and 13 for Bluefield.
So now you'll see the money defense
Or 3rd and
coming
6,
in.
rather. 3rd down and 6. Trips right, 1 left. Out of the gun goes Nelson. Pressure, he flicks it out to Strickland, and that was a life-saving decision, I think, for Nelson. He just backed out of there, got rid of the football. Good decision.
It was.
Sometimes, like David said, sometimes you got to make that great business move.
Just don't take the hit unless you just absolutely have to.
No.
4th down and 6, punting unit onto the field for Bluefield. Twins left, one right. Snap to Griffith. Punt, end over end.
Ooh.
And it's a live ball, it looks like. Did he not touch it?
He had to have hit
that
it.
had to have touched his leg. It looked like he touched him, which meant Faulkner could have got that.
All right.
No.
Yeah.
Bluefield could have got that.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I meant.
thought for sure the gunner got hit that time, but apparently not. 1st down and 10. From the 16-yard line, Griffiths again pins Faulkner back inside the 20. Other than the one he's had blocked, and that's really not his fault, he's been very good today. Out of the gun goes Young. The snap gives to Gibson. Gibson tries the middle up to the 21-yard line. Gain of 5. I haven't heard from our buddy Chuck Knapp out there today, so I'm going to guess, being homecoming, Chuck Knapp is in attendance for this one.
Could be. You know, he usually tunes in to every game.
He does indeed. Second down and 5. Twins right, one left. The snap to Young. The give. Middle of the field again. And that'll get up to the 22, a gain of 1.
31.99.
So add another yard onto Gibson's tally.
I've made an observation on how to tackle Hunter, even though I'm not out there. But you have basically, if his momentum's already going forward, you're gonna have to try to get to him first, because if not, then he's just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Because most people look at him as a power runner, but these last few weeks we've seen him get those longer runs.
Yeah, open
Yeah.
field, he's pretty fast.
And that's what I was about to say as you're going there. You've got to get him first and make him really break off that tackle and have to do something.
Young looks in trouble, rolls, fires. Should have been picked off. Oh, my. I can guarantee you that Charles Turner Cox wants that one back.
That is a play you do not want your coach to play in film, because he will replay it and replay
Yeah.
it. That's one of those where one of my defensive back coaches will always say, you left money on the table, because that's, I mean, if that'll boost you up right there.
Yeah, and that's another situation. If you're young and you're rolling out like that, you've got pressure, just throw the ball out of bounds and take the punt in that situation. Don't try to force it back inside in the field.
Timeout taken by Bluefield. 10:34 remaining in the third quarter. We'll take it with them, Faulkner Sports Network. Snap. Punt up by Caden Davis.
Good high kick.
That one of his better kicks in a while. It drove the return man back. Tackle's going to be made up at the 40-yard line by Brady Hancock.
Yeah, great punt by Caden Davis. A lot of hang time on it, which is going to help the punt team really get down there to really get in that lane so the returner has nowhere to run to.
And you hear a lot about hang time on a punt, but you don't always get to hear why hang time is so important.
Mm-hmm.
It allows those gunners that opportunity, that extra time to get down there to make a tackle or force the fair catch.
Snap to Nelson, drops, fires into the flat.
27.
It's
Tackle made
16:56.
up around the 48-yard line.
Mason Cox in at quarterback for the Rams.
So it's Mason Cox, the third quarterback of the day. And he threw it to number 27. First time I think we've called the name of DeAndre Jackson. Snapped Cox, fires. Strickland couldn't handle it, incomplete.
Would have been a nice snag if you would have caught it like that.
Really would have. As soon as the ball goes down, he turns around to Cox and he says, "That's got to be lower."
Second down and 10. Trips to the right, one to the left. Cox, a native of Indian Trail, North Carolina. Snap, drop, fire. And he'll speed toward the sticks and get across for a first down up to the 35-yard line. Nice play after the catch for Lowell Patron Jr.
That's just a true definition of catching the ball, stick your foot in the ground, and take off.
Trips to the left, one to the right. Jackson the back with Cox. The snap, drops, looks, rolls, flings it down the field, out of bounds, incomplete.
Cox never able to get his feet set and shoulders squared to his target.
Bluefield on its third quarterback of the day, all three of them very different throwing motions, very different style quarterbacks. Cox, snap, dumps it off. Jackson squared up in the flat, but he manages to move through it and make it a third and short. Going to be about a 3rd and 2 or so, down to the 27. Bluefield knocking on the door of its first points of the day. The snap, fires, complete,
Touchdown.
And nobody in front of him. It's a touchdown. Cox connects to, trying to see the number, is that 5? Jaquan Ebron, the wide receiver from Charlotte, North Carolina. Bluefield's on the board.
Now, the mix-up I saw as he got to split those guys is that when you're a corner, you have to be on the outside. You never break on the inside. But that safety, which is, you call it lanes. Lane 2 is the inside. That safety should have been on the inside to really trap him, to not let him score.
Extra point attempt from Griffith. Hold. Kick is up. And good. 35-7 is your score. 8:44 to play in the third. Faulkner Sports Network. Back here live, Crampton Bowl. Bluefield ready to tee it up. Our buddy Chuck Knapp is watching. He texts in, says, "I'm here, bro. You and your staff got in a rhythm early, and I didn't want to mess that up." Thank you, Chuck. He also said, Bullock is on point today. Deshaun Bullock gets paid in compliments, so we like to pass those along to him.
I appreciate that, Coach Snap.
He does receive adulation well. He's more than just an Instagram model. Isaiah Scott, Malik Meadows back deep to return. Ball kicked to Scott at the 8-yard line. Scott on the return up to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and he'll get it up around midfield. And it doesn't ever seem like he has a lane, and yet Scott just sort of weaves his way through, and it's a 42-yard return just like that.
I mean, Isaiah, like I said earlier, he just needs that small space, and he can make something happen.
And once he gets going, he does a good job of setting up his blockers in front of him and running off of where they're going and just being able to anticipate almost those open holes. And we saw that right there on the 42-yard return.
Scott's return numbers have him in the area of 200 all-purpose yards now. Twins left, one right. Young out of the gun, drops, looks, throws it down the field. Browder's open. Touchdown and a 50-yard bomb to Jalen Browder. That gives him 80 yards on 4 catches and a couple of touchdowns, and just like that, Faulkner gets the points back, 41-7.
Jalen Browder, I mean, when he gets going, especially that is the route you want to give him.
Yeah.
For a DB, once you open up on that post route, you have lost it because now you're trailing. We just saw him trailing. Once he's trailing and Jalen Browder's gone, that's a touchdown.
Well, and two things here, Deshaun. You're in single high safety. You don't have a lot of help over the top. But then if you miss the jam, you're in trouble with Browder.
You're in trouble for sure. It's like you just made a great point about missing the jam. I mean, if you're going to play off like that, you have to time the jam up perfectly. And then when when it's one high safety, a DB coach is going to tell you, play like you don't have any help because a one high he has to worry about
everything.
Everything. 3 other receivers along with that fourth one. It can only cover so much.
So 42-7 is Jalen Browder and Cade Young. Looked like they were playing in the backyard on that play. Faulkner will kick it away. 8:27 to go here in the third quarter. Guys, it's been an unusual season, but it has been a fun one. Our buddy Ferris Austin texts in and asks, will there be playoffs this spring? There will be. We do not anticipate Faulkner getting a bid as only 16 teams make it to the NAIA playoffs. That is my understanding. So Faulkner's 6-2 if they hold on here today. And if they don't, we've got a whole different conversation we're going to have in an hour or so. Alvin Renteria is the ball on the tee. That one kicked deep. Fielded on a fair catch. Bluefield will start at its own 25-yard line.
David, I wonder if that guy heard you when you said that earlier, because ever since then he has not returned one.
I think it's a matter of he's been told if you're backpedaling at all, just throw that hand up and take the free yardage and let us get started. Backpedaling, receiving a kick of any kind is not a good way to start.
Totally messes up your momentum.
Ball on the 25. 4 wide receivers in the formation. Cox is the quarterback. Snap, drop, looks, pump fake, sacked. He is taken down by number 45, Marvin Payton, the freshman out of Mount Zion, Georgia.
That's a nice guy right there. Always smiling. He's always known his talent. Right there, I know he would love to get that sack as he did. Really read that very well.
2nd down and 13. 4 wide again for Cox. He'll take the snap, drop, fire down the sideline, incomplete. Hung his receiver out to dry a little bit on that one. 3rd down and 13 now. Ball on the 22-yard line.
So now we got the Eagle defense in that dime package.
Trips left, one right. Cox out of the gun. The snap, drops, looking. He's hit as he throws. Incomplete. Up some extracurricular now. As Mario Davis Jr. was quite upset getting up off the ground, and the back for Bluefield came in the area to keep him from.
And there's the flag.
What was the hold up there?
Now there's a late flag, and
What in the world?
Jackson, I think, was coming over to Peyton to try to calm him down. I don't know what Cox did or said, but Davis was going after him. Unsportsmanlike against Faulkner. So that will.
Late flag. I was almost wondering if it was going to be a
Well, that's what's
offset.
interesting is that the white hat watched the
Yeah.
whole thing and didn't
Right in
throw the
front of him.
flag. So you have to think there was something said after the original exchange.
Yeah, and that's the situation. If you've got to know the situation, that would have been fourth down, time to punt. Just you can be mad all day long, but you can do that over on the sideline.
4 wide receivers. Cox out of the gun. The snap. He'll fire. Complete down the sideline. So new life for this Bluefield offense after the unsportsmanlike extends the possession. That's the second time today we've seen something like that from Faulkner. And you look at the Faulkner presumably 6-2 at the end of this one. But the difference between 6-2 and 8-0 is just some discipline things, whether it be taking care of the football or penalties or things like that.
You stole the word right out of my mouth. It's all about discipline. I mean, we're looking at it right now where you just said 8-0 versus 6-2. Going into this, I mean, like you said, they hold on to it. But you look at those small things that they're doing. I mean, those penalties, you got to understand you're in the lead 42-7. You can't have those penalties in a game like this.
4 wide, Cox out of the gun on 2nd and 11. He'll take the snap, drop, looks, throws it down the field. Malik Meadows has a bead on it. And how in the world did Patron go get it? Meadows dropped into basically a safety mode and went after the ball, and Patron with the closing speed beat him to it.
Patron out DB the DB.
That's all it is to it.
Just a great job closing and making the play. Meadows was setting up, just ready to make the catch, just settling under it, where Patron just went out and got it.
And great concentration by him as well. Understood that it could have been an interception, but really just kept his eyes on the ball. He could have, any other receiver could have gave up on it and just let him go for it, but he still caught that.
1st and goal from the 8. Cox will throw that one into the net behind the goalpost.
Lucky to get away with a defensive hold there. Looked like both arms wrapped around the waist of the receiver.
2nd and goal from the 8. 6:15 to go in the 3rd. 2 wide left, 2 wide right. Cox out of the gun, flanked by Jackson. Cox drops, fires, lined up and drilled by Aaron Reynolds. Reynolds snuffed it out and very, very keyed in on the back there. Deshaun, sometimes you lower that head and you go for that hit and you miss it. That's a touchdown.
That is, but Aaron Reynolds is a guy, we always give him credit about, his height and the way he can go for the ball, but Aaron Reynolds can hit. Once he keys on that player, and he always has his eyes up. That's what you're taught anyway. He's going to get the tackle every time.
5:40 and counting. Out of the gun. Cox throws it up, deflected and incomplete. Nice fight for the ball in the end zone that time. Malik Meadows wins that battle.
It's not many times you'll win a jump ball battle with Malik Meadows. True athlete.
He and Patron has become an interesting subplot here. And now Overton Gates is going to come in, and he'll guard Patron for a little bit. Third down and goal from the 7. Fourth and goal from the 7. Scoreboard's off. The box on the sideline is correct. Snaps. Rolls.
Oh, nice
Design.
play.
What a play design. I got to give a hand to the coaches in the box next to us.
Nice.
Excellent play design on that one. You roll all the action to the right, you throw back the safety valve on the left, and that's an easy touchdown.
I was just thinking as he was rolling to the right and I didn't see the receivers really running a route, I'm like, well, where is he going with it? And then you have someone break back out on the other side. That is a heck of a play call.
Really nice play design that time. Makes it 42-13. The snap, the hold, the kick is up. And good. That'll cut it to 42-14. We head to the 5:28 mark now, still chipping away at this clock. And you look at it, the offensive numbers starting to even out a lot as the time of possession here in the second half heavily in favor of Bluefield.
I mean, Bluefield, it was really what we said earlier before halftime. It's you can either play like it's over and just do things that you wouldn't really do, or you just keep playing and keep chipping away. And along with this, like David said, this is going to help for the guys who are going to return, and you get to get a better look at those guys as well. So Bluefield, I mean, they're just playing still.
So Antonio Strickland caught the touchdown. That makes it 42-14. We go to, as I try to reboot my live stats here, they're giving me all sorts of issues. There we go. Now 233 yards of total offense for Bluefield. There's a squib kick. They've decided to stop kicking it to either guy. And that's Malik Meadows, who was up to field the squib. And he'll get it across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Nice execution on the squib that time by Griffith.
That was nice execution. And also, great way for Bluefield to run down the field as well, because with the squib, you guys on kickoff, you got to run down the field. So what just happened just now, Malik Meadows didn't have any kind of momentum to even really get going. That is exactly what you want.
5:22 to go in the third. First down and 10 from the 36-yard line.
New quarterback.
New quarterback is Brock Snyder. So if Cade Young's day is done, he finishes 11 of 20 for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's also run it 5 times for 9 yards.
Penalty.
And a penalty here as Charles Blackman would have had the carry. So let's try again. First down and 15 from the 31. Two receivers right, one left. Tight end to the left, Snyder out of the gun. Man in motion is Pig. The give is to Blackman. No, he'll pull it, throw it down the sideline. Scott hauls it in. Isaiah Scott ran underneath that one and managed to get to it. And Scott with a big gain.
That is the true definition of if he's even, I'm leaving. DB was even with him. Isaiah left him. That's exactly what it was. Quarterback and receivers have to understand that dynamic, and that was a great one right there.
Ball down to the 28-yard line, 156 yards on 4 catches now for Isaiah Scott.
And just a pretty throw by Snyder, getting the air underneath it, allowed Scott to run under it.
Snyder drops, looks, throws toward the end zone. Jalen Browder back in the end zone, a little too deep on that throw. Browder is under a pile of the field goal net and 2 Bluefield players.
And the net is attacking one of the Bluefield players.
Yeah. Holding on the net.
Got stuck for a second.
Snyder out of the gun. He'll take the snap. Pulls it.
Good pull.
Out of the belly of Blackman. Didn't get much out of it. That's not going to look good on the stat sheet, but that was a really good decision by Snyder that time.
Great pull, but also great quarterback contain as well, because that is something that when you do a read option, when you pull it, somebody's usually not containing so you can find that spot, but he was right there.
Ball on the 29-yard line.
And on that read option, the second wave commitment is always got to be there. And if it's not there, that read option can go for a big play.
Trips left. Snyder looking. Climbs in the pocket. And he'll fight through the sack and actually get a yard or two out of this. Brock Snyder gets it down to about the 28-yard line. Snyder carries the football. Quan Stokes carries Snyder. And we get it to about the 28, so it goes from a sack to a gain. 4th down and 10. This is a 45-yard attempt for Alvin Renteria right in the middle of the field. Renteria's kick has the distance and no good. 0 for 2 on the day is Renteria. I think that's the first time in his career that he's missed 2 in the same game. 42-14 is the Faulkner lead as the Bluefield offense comes back onto the field.
Now for the defense, it's all about getting that stop.
Ball on the 28-yard line. Trips left, one right. Cox will go out of the gun. There's the snap. He'll fire into the flat to Jackson. And he tries to hurdle. He's pulled by Love and planted by Eddie Brown.
As a defensive player, those are one of those plays that you will want. You got one guy who's going to get him, who, if you try to hurdle him, you got a cleanup guy coming right after you. That's just a sandwich play.
Ball on the 28-yard line, 2nd and 10.
And it just looks good, too.
It does. It does.
Trips left, one right. Out of the gun. Drops, looks, fires down the left side. Complete to number 1, Christian Quirley. Quirley gets it up to about the 43-yard line. Gain of 15 and a Bluefield first down.
And you start looking at this, and you look at the score, 28-point ball game right now. But if Bluefield goes down the score inside the third quarter here, that puts them within striking distance. And this is an important defensive possession for the Eagles.
It is, and, Faulkner goes into halftime up 35-0, but all of the urgency in the second half has been on the Bluefield sideline. You wondered how they would come out. Mm-hmm. Long drive home, last game of the season, down 35-0, and Bluefield has really been the better team in the second half.
It's all about just continuing playing, understanding that it's a lot of football to be played.
Trips left, one right out of the gun. There's the snap. Drops, looks, fires, high and incomplete. That'll make it 2nd and 4.
Cox with one of those throwing motions where he kind of starts low and comes up high with the football.
A little bit of a long windup.
Long windup, but one of the things with that, it'll make you throw the ball high because you're coming from that low position and slinging it all the way back up.
Third and 4. Trips left, one right. Cox out of the gun. The snap, drops, looks, throws it down the field, incomplete. So that should get the punting unit on the field here on 4th and 4. They may go for it, though. Down 28.
4 yards to go, too.
Nothing to lose.
May see a timeout here and let them talk about it anyway.
Yeah, you want your best play here. Play clock is running.
Here
down to
comes the punt
15. And here comes the punt unit. Play clock inside 10. Faulkner trying to get adjusted. He gets the snap off at 2. And the punt will check up at the 20.
And I think it was for that purpose that we just saw, keep the defense out on the field for the Eagles, not allowing to make that substitution and get everybody set with the way that they want it for the return.
Good way to nullify Faulkner's best weapon this season, which has been that return game. So Faulkner takes over, 1:34 to go in the third. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Brock Snyder back in at quarterback. Blackman is the back. Trips left, 1 to the right. Snyder awaits the snap. The give to Blackman. He'll try left guard. Get a couple yards up to the 22. Yeah, get him all the way up to the 24. They gave him a couple more than I thought he got. Twins to the right, twins to the left. Snyder out of the gun. The snap, the give to Blackman. Blackman with a hole, and he will dive forward up to the 36-yard line.
Charles Blackman, such a physical runner. He really, really can duck his head down and run through a defender or just juke past a defender. Whatever he feels like doing in that moment.
Officially spotted him on the 35.
And no matter what, he's going to finish that run.
Oh, he will.
Inside 35 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Twins to the left. Twins to the right. A snap to Snyder coming out of the gun. Gives it to Blackman again. Blackman, give him 5 more up to the 40. That should do it for the third quarter. Blackman, 72 yards now as we end the third quarter of play. 15 minutes left in the 2020, quote-unquote, football season. 42-14, Faulkner leads here on the Faulkner Sports Network. Back in a moment.
Thoroughness.
Out of the gun is Snyder. The snap, drops, looks, rolls right, throws it down the field. Caught by Cordell Laurent.
Look at the touch on the throw.
Can we talk about the concentration of Cordell Laurent keeping his feet in bounds before he caught the ball, because if he goes out of bounds and tries to go back in bounds, well, go back in and catch it, that's a flag. But great concentration, great communication by both Brock and Cordero Laurent.
Yeah, understanding where that receiver is going to be and where to throw the football.
Snyder out of the gun. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Blackman is the back. The snap to Snyder. Drops, looks, steps up, fires incomplete to Cordero Laurent. It's interesting to look at the disparate styles of Cade Young and Brock Snyder. Snyder, very traditional pocket passer, knows how to maneuver in the pocket. Young, very, very, very well fits the option part of this offense.
That's just what I was thinking. It was, that's Young. He would have taken off there and gotten what he could.
The snap, fakes the give to Blackman, looks, fires, he's got a man, incomplete. Needed a little more air on that one, but he had pressure in his face and he couldn't step into the throw. And Snyder picked up off the deck, 3rd down and 10.
And I think the DB number 20, Lindsey, he got away with tucking Isaiah Scott's hand, but as a DB, you can do that as long as the referee does not see it and it does not slow down the receiver, but it kind of slowed him down that time.
Snyder will go out of the gun. Trips to the left, 1 to the right. Blackman is the back. The snap, drops, looks, fires over toward Jacob Pig. Too much air, out of bounds. That'll make it 4th and 10 from the 37. And Faulkner looking to punt here.
The throw was long, but nice job by the DB getting underneath, making him have to throw it to one spot to even try to have an opportunity at the receiver.
High IQ play.
So Caden Davis will punt. Back deep to receive is Kadarius Finney. Davis. Ball checks up, takes a hop, rolls back to the 15-yard line. Bluefield will take over there. Ball on the 15, 1st down and 10. Left hash. 14 minutes left in this season. Twins to the right, 1 to the left, a tight end. Actually, that's going to be a slot receiver, so go trips to the right. The drop, Cox looks, pressure, rolls, fires, incomplete. He was hit pretty hard, and a Faulkner player slow to get up on the back end of this play.
Looks like Jamichael Morgan.
Got the hit on the quarterback, then subsequently landed on by an offensive lineman.
2nd and 10.
Oh no, I lost my balance. So sorry. Totally lost.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Snap to Cox, drops, looks, throws, incomplete, and a flag.
There's the flag. I was about to say, it's got to be a flag.
You gotta throw that one.
Yeah.
And it took
I like
the
the
back
coverage.
judge.
I like the coverage and I like the physicality, but
Yeah.
you gotta be more disciplined on that.
Skylar Henderson on the coverage. Skylar Henderson on the penalty.
And funny thing, the 2 referees closest to the action are the ones who did not throw the flag. The back judge makes himself known. Guys, you got to call that. That's pretty blatant.
Yeah.
Ball on the 27-yard line, 1st down and 10.
How did you get a 27-yard line?
Twins to the right, twins to the left. Out of the gun goes Cox. Snap, drop, looks, throws downfield, incomplete. And again, you talked about sometimes that throwing motion, he'll sail a ball. He's had several times that he's hung that ball up and his receivers have gotten hit in the back because of it.
Yeah, and the length of time it takes him to throw, the arc on the ball coming out of his hand, it all plays a factor. There the ball was actually going to be out of bounds. He would have come down out of bounds had he caught that football. But he still takes another pop in the back that he didn't necessarily have to take.
Out of the gun again goes Cox, 13:45 on the clock. He'll step up, throws it deep down the field, man-to-man coverage, incomplete. Overton Gates with the coverage that time. Never let the receiver turn back around and find the ball. Nice coverage by Gates.
Great discipline as well. When you run, instead of undercutting that route, you stay on top of it. The receiver's going to have to get back on top of it, which is going to really hurt the concentration because now you forget that the ball is even thrown.
Ball on the 27, 3rd and 10. We're ticking off about 6 seconds at a time here. Two receivers to the right, two to the left. The snap, drops, looks, throws, caught, and the tackle made. Where do they give him the spot at, though?
15.
Ooh, it's going to be close.
No, 5 tackle.
They're gonna
They're
give
gonna
him
give
the
it to
actual
him.
half a yard to get the first down.
That's the old down 28 spot.
Look,
That was the 42nd pass attempt of the game by Bluefield.
43rd.
43rd, rather. All right.
credit the effort by the receiver, reaching out, trying to dive, give every effort he can.
Fires on the screen, and he is lit up.
Mr. Alex Hitman Dawson.
Dawson with the tackle for loss that time. He snuffed the screen out. That'll move it back to the 35-yard line.
And Alex has really stepped up this season, really becoming that quarterback of that defense, understanding how to get everybody in that spot, and also making the plays and leading by example as well.
Two receivers right, two left. Cox is going to go out of the gun. 2nd and 13. There's the snap. Rolls to his right. Got to get rid of it. He'll throw, deflected off the hands of the receiver and out of bounds. Stops the clock again.
Looked like the intended receiver was number 17, Matthew Trevelyan, 6'4", 208-pound junior. It's a good-sized receiver, but it almost looked like he was waiting for the hit that was coming rather than concentrating on catching the football and number one and then beginning to turn upfield.
That will make a receiver coach lose his mind.
Ball on the 35-yard line, left hash. 4 wide. There's the snap. Looks, fires, complete. And near the sticks again. He'll be about a yard short here up to the 47. Needs the 48 for the first down. That was Christian Quirley again. 4th down and 1. Offense will stay on the field for Bluefield. I'm a little surprised the big back's not out there here. They do give it to Jackson. No need for the big back. He's got the first down.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I've been surprised we haven't seen Johnson here in the second half, the big bowling ball of a back, and you would think as the freshman you give him some carries here to end this season out, especially with the first half that he had.
Jackson, though, picks up the first down to the 44 of Faulkner. The snap, fires, caught, and a nice open field tackle again by the Faulkner defense. And I think he's hurt after that one.
Caught that shoulder, it looks like.
Is that Overton Gates that's down?
Yep.
So as they check on Overton Gates, we're going to pause here. This is the Faulkner Sports Network. Our own Overton Gates, Faulkner Sports Network zone, walks off the field on his own power. Presumably, with a 28-point lead, that would end his season here as Cox scrambles out of trouble, and he'll make something out of nothing. Mario Davis Jr. with the shoestring tackle.
And if Davis doesn't make that shoestring tackle, he could have gone for a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
He really could have.
Again, it's not a big deal, but the difference is
It wasn't the play. He had to.
a keeper is like that was
Win
the
the play.
plan.
Okay.
A scramble is like, oh no.
Yeah, okay.
Oh
Right. That's
4 wides. The snap looks. He'll throw it down the sideline. Complete. Look at Mason Cox. You got to know they're competing for the starting job at Bluefield next year.
Yeah.
And Cox is
Foo Fighters, I'm telling you.
he's staking his claim.
Perfect placement on that, and there he didn't have that bring the ball. Football is low. He kept it up, and he was able to get the ball out quick, help the receiver make that catch there at the sideline.
Nicknamed this kid Varsity Bluefield. He's come in and lit a fire under somebody.
I don't want your line.
2 to the left, 2 to the right. Cox out of the gun, drops, pressure, and he is taken down.
That's 44.
Yeah.
Philip Russell got to him first.
Him coming at a full head of steam. It is hard to get past him.
Cox says that's okay. I can get more yards this way. In the air.
Ball on the 22-yard line.
17.
Or the
17. I'm going the wrong way. I'm looking at the 20 from this way. Listen, guys, there's 9:43 left in the season, all right? I don't need your sass.
It's been a long year.
Ball's on the 17. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Out of the gun goes Cox. Throws it up,
Oh, that's pass interference.
and pass interference.
I've always wanted to throw one of the
So we'll have another first down on this drive. That feels like the 18th first down of the drive. It's not. It is the 17th first down of the game for Bluefield, though.
That'll make it first and goal, though.
Cox is 17 of 29 for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns off the bench here in the second half. Put the ball on the 3.
That brings new life for Bluefield now.
Twins left, Twins right. The snap, the give. Jackson, second effort, gets there. 42-21, and with 9:24 to play, Bluefield's not done yet. You get another stop and another score, all of a sudden you're having a conversation.
They're scrapping, they're clawing, they're doing everything that they can. They've got the long road back, the long drive, but they don't want it to be over.
Well, and it's like you talked about coming out. You're down 35-0. You're 2-6 or 2-7, whatever they are. What are they? 2-6.
Six.
Yeah. So you have that. You got to go all the way back to West Virginia. How are you going to play second half? Bluefield's the team with a sense of urgency. Faulkner looks like the team that's ready to go home.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be on that long bus ride knowing that you gave up after one half.
That's true.
So now 42-21, 9:24 to play.
Onside again.
You got to start having the conversation, especially since when you kick it deep, Faulkner's getting a return up to midfield anyway. You may as well onside the kick.
I mean, 9:24, I mean, if I'm Bluefield, I'd do it again. Especially when you know you got guys who can run down the field, too.
Well, and you look at it, if you're going to squib it like they did last time, then you're not going to – it's not that big of a yardage differential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're going to kick it deep, they've been returning it to midfield anyway.
Be interesting to see if they do some kind of surprise onside where they look like they're going to squib it or something like that.
Well, and it doesn't look like Faulkner's going to get surprised here.
No, they put the hands team out, so they're expecting something.
Charles Blackman is the man deep.
You think they're onside?
Meadows is on one wing, and they'll kick it straight to the middle. And it'll be caught, and Meadows will
Tackled by
cover up
Meadows.
his own man.
Now, that is something Coach Fuller teaches, so that's great discipline by Malik Meadows to cover up Alex Dawson just now.
Dawson caught the ball. Meadows caught Dawson. It's Faulkner football with 9:24 to go. If you're Bluefield, the good news is the clock never started on that.
So now you get FSN's own Teontre Spence now lining up at center.
Teontre Spence in his final game as an Eagle. Man's a graduate student working a full-time job playing football. The snap to Snyder. There's the give. Right up the middle is Devin Murray.
34, tackle.
Up to the 46-yard line. Wholesale changes for the Eagles. You start to look at these skill positions. We've got TJ Hall in the game.
17, 81,
83 is in the game. That's Malik Murray.
87.
Actually, correction.
There's that
would be
Javion
Tucker.
That's Javion Tucker. We did have a jersey change last week.
Yeah.
Wide left is Brandon Rudolph. There's the snap. Give to Murray again. Good run by Murray here. Up to the 45 of Bluefield.
One thing about Devin Murray, not a lot of guys understand, but he has never been afraid of contact. He'll take on anybody. He is one of those guys. He can get you better in the weight room, but he'll get you better on the field. He wants you to hit him.
I've heard several of his teammates talk about him over the years. He's not a guy that gets a lot of carries, but everybody I've heard talk about him believes in his ability.
He's well respected. Me as a person, I really respected him off the field and on the field just because he likes to get everybody else better, and that's just his motto.
3 receivers in the formation for Snyder. 8 minutes to go in the ball game. The give is to Devin Murray, and he will cut back there. Nice cut
16.
away from that initial gap when it was filled, and he'll go get near the sticks again. Up to the 40, well, make him the 38-yard line. I'll check with the sideline. In no hurry here. Up 21. Brock Snyder will go out of the gun. Mosley is the tight end to the right. There's the snap. He'll give it to Murray. Murray's got nowhere to go. Dances
Somehow.
around for a little while. Army crawls at the end of the run.
I applaud him being patient and not just trying to run into
It
the
was
hole.
one of those
anything.
Le'Veon Bell kind of runs.
Yes, exactly. I was thinking that. I like that.
Up to the 36-yard line, makes it 3rd and 1.
And the thing that I saw out of that, yeah, he was patient and he waited. All those things are great, but he wasn't standing on his feet. He kept chopping his feet, looking for that hole, keeping his feet moving, making himself, when that hole is there, he's ready to go and hit it.
Teach tape.
Snyder out of the gun. The snap. Gives it to Murray again. Murray pushing, fighting. He'll get it on the second effort up to the 34-yard line. Keep burning clock, Eagles. 6:15 and counting, or inside 6:15 when we get ready to snap this ball. May even be inside 6. Faulkner at 506 yards of total offense right now. Live stats have updated. There's the other 2 yards. The snap. The give is to Murray. And he'll spin forward to the 26-yard line.
For anybody that needs to understand as a running back what to do, one, keep your feet moving, always have your momentum going forward, and trust your blockers. That is exactly what Devin Murray is doing right now, especially in this drive.
Get you some closeout numbers on some of these starters. Cade Young, again, went 11 of 20, 235 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hunter Gibson, 13 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Charles Blackman, 8 carries, 83 yards. Get your receiver numbers in a moment as Murray gets another one here, and he is eaten up.
Oh, God, 92.
Put him back at the 32-yard line. Isaiah Scott led the receiving corps, 4 catches, 156 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Browder, 4 catches, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cordero Laurent, 4 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Now Blackman comes back in. Murray checks out. Third and 8. And ball on the 32. You're up 21. A little over 4 minutes to play. You got to think this is 4-down territory here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a small stoppage.
And they'll take the delay of game here.
Did the referee ever move off the ball they were spotting? They apparently
No.
so.
I didn't think he did, but all right.
I didn't see him move away.
Ty Gray checks in. Hunter Mosley checks out. 3rd down and 13.
So that changes the play call a little bit.
As long as the play call involves snapping the football, I agree with Saul. Play clock down to 12 seconds. And here we go. Snyder out of the gun. Takes the snap, drops, looks, throws it away. I don't think you ever saw Ty Gray. Ty Gray was wide open. And the punting unit onto the field. For that result, I would have been fine with the sack.
Yeah.
Except the clock moves.
True.
3:57 to play.
Well, it goes back to that 5-yard penalty. You go from possible 2-down territory to now you've got a punt being behind the sticks.
42-21. Caden Davis ready to punt this one away for Faulkner. And he'll get that one to check up at about the 7, and it'll go out of bounds at the 2.
Nice punt.
Nice job by Caden Davis. Guys, we ready to wrap up one of the oddest seasons I think that we'll ever have, I hope. If we return to normal, we'll tell our grandkids about the time that college football is being played in the spring. So your big takeaways, Deshaun, you know these athletes, the guys on this team really well. They all got their year of eligibility back. There was a lot of conversation about whether or not they would even be able to play this season. So what's been the general takeaways from these guys as it pertains to the year they've had?
I think overall, if we look at last season compared to this season, the morale is so much different. We saw a lot of just the team chemistry really was different. The team bonding was different. I mean, last year a lot of guys really didn't hang with each other. And really, I mean, on the field you could be a teammate. Off the field, that's really where the team chemistry comes in. But the morale is what really made this team get to this point that they're at now, which as long as they hold on for the last 3 minutes, going into 6-2, that's really what changed everything from compared to last season.
David Turner, you look at a 6-2 season, a much better outcome all the way around for Faulkner as a team. Of course, part of that is maybe the oddity of the year, the move to the Appalachian Division, but a lot of it has to be that now you're in that second full season under Tommy Wasden. I think there's a better idea of his program and his system. Yeah. And a lot of continuity for this assistant coaching staff, not a lot of changeover. How much can they build on going forward?
A lot. There was no system change coming in. They kept the same system the last few years, offensively and defensively, so that helps a lot. The players know already coming into the season what they're going to be running, what they're going to be asked to do for the most part. There may be a few changes along the way, but it makes a big difference as far as knowing, hey, we're not going to do wholesale changes on everything that we're doing. We've got to learn a new playbook and new systems defensively. But so that's a great head start for an individual player going into a season for sure.
Cox firing to the right here on third down, incomplete, but we do have a flag in the end zone. If it's a holding in the end zone, it's a safety.
No, it's complete.
Oh, he did complete it on the right side. I'm watching the flag right now, though. Personal foul. Chop block. All right, so a hold in the end zone is a safety. What's a chop block in the end zone?
It would be, but it's not. That's not in the end zone.
They moved the flag out of the end zone
just
so as
out.
to not have to adjudicate that.
Okay.
Ball on the 1 yard line. Good news is you couldn't go back any further, so it's 3rd and 11. Four receivers. Out of the gun. Drops. Looks. Pressure from behind.
no.
Escape the sack. He'll throw back across his body. Find his
my
man.
goodness.
And a first down. And Varsity Bluefield completes another one. Christian Quirley gets underneath it. This is Mason Cox's starting job to lose next year, I would think.
Mason Cox just now, he could have panicked. He knew somebody was coming after him. He didn't panic at all. Still found his receiver and completed that pass.
That was everything you don't want to do.
No.
Throwing back across your body, throwing it
But
off
you're
the
not
jump,
Johnny Mox. He is.
Don't be told me.
and you make the completion for the big gain.
Drops, looks, dumps it off, misses the open field tackle,
44.
and Jackson will pick up good yardage.
He just passed Young for passing range.
And now Cox with that completion is the passing leader in this game.
240 yards.
Put him at 240, and he not quite far enough back to get to the 300-yard mark tonight unless they get another possession out of this thing, but good night. Off the bench, 19 of 33, 240 yards, couple
In
of
the
touchdowns.
second half.
All second half. And he didn't even start the second half. He wasn't the
No,
first guy off the bench. He was
was
the
not.
last guy off the bench.
I guess this is a testament to all quarterbacks need to be ready.
This is one of those where on Madden you put the third-string guy in to get his rating up, and Cox is getting it done tonight. 42-21 with 2:40 to play in the ball game. And Deshaun, one of the things we've touched on it a little bit over the course of the year, but I think you've got to give a lot of credit to the coaching of Kyle Fuller and on this special teams unit. He's really taken hold of that group, and they've been standout performers all year long for Faulkner.
Truthfully about Coach Fuller, he is really passionate when it comes to special teams. That is something that he takes very serious. So, I mean, we look at a lot of guys. You look at Isaiah Scott, who won Special Teams Player of the Week. You look at Alvin Renteria, very consistent. He won it. I mean, when it comes to it got to a point where we saw the teams who had to really pooch it instead of kicking it to certain guys because we have so many weapons that they can use. That really showed how much he really emphasized special teams.
Yeah, when you're having to scheme your kicks and your punts, it puts a lot of extra pressure on a coaching staff that normally wouldn't be there. And so big credit to Kyle Fuller for what he did. And you pointed out, Alvin Renteria was Special Teams Player of the Week. Isaiah Scott was Special Teams Player of the Week. Two different phases of the game. You've got a return game. You've got a kicking game. Justin Hoagland tonight has blocked one and gotten near two others. It's been a very good year for Faulkner Special Teams. Jackson will try the middle here, get to the 49, which would be another first down.
19.
And it is. Bluefield narrowing the gap in terms of that yardage that was so ugly in the first half. Cox rolls out, looking downfield, shakes off another sack, and he'll take that one finally from Shea Taylor. 2:18 left in the ball game. Ball back on the 47. Twins left, Twins right. Out of the gun again goes Mason Cox. Jackson is the back to his left. He'll take the snap, drop, pressure from behind, throws it down the field. incomplete. I thought we might have our first turnover of the game there, but it is incomplete.
Gotta love the safety help Deshaun Love just gave just now.
Love wanted that ball, though.
He did. And it's crazy because Deshaun Love is that kind of safety where you see safeties who really just love to hit. He is a safety that loves to hit. So when he goes for the ball, it's kind of a rare occasion. That's one of those rare occasions.
And he just told himself, that's why I hit and don't go for the ball. So, 3rd down and 12 with 1:54 to go in the ball game. Bluefield from its own 47-yard line, trips left, one right. Cox the snap, drops, looks. He'll send it out to the left side and dropped by Quirley. Just beyond the sticks, would have been another first down. That'll make it 4th and 12.
It's a long throw from that hash mark to that sideline where he was at. Takes a strong arm from a quarterback to get the receiver there.
And I don't think that was his first target either, because for a quarterback, you never want to throw to the field side.
Twins to either side on 4th and 12. Let's see if the last ride of varsity Bluefield can produce another first down, and it does.
26.
I'm going to watch Bluefield games next year if Mason Cox is starting. I'm just going to tell you.
I like him. He is really came into this half. I mean, like you said, didn't even start off the second half, but he's put up some numbers.
Drops, looks, finds his man again, and he's in the open field. He'll dive down inside the 5-yard line. Strickland to the 3. Minute 27 to go, and the hurry-up in place for Bluefield. Cox, the snap, looks, throws it up, complete, and a touchdown. Mason Cox, is that 9 on the catch there?
I think it was
19
5.
or 5. Give me a number. We've got several of them floating around. Jaquan Ebron officially on the catch.
Now here's the small mistake that just happened of why he caught that ball. As a DB, that is too much space that you've given him. You have to be closer to him, especially on the goal line.
So Mason Cox engineers another touchdown drive. Kick is up and good. Now you're down 2 touchdowns. You got a minute 19 to play. You got a timeout. Yeah, you're kicking the onside. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you got to applaud Bluefield. They come in down 35 in the first half. You come in into the other. If you didn't give up that touchdown, you're down a touchdown. But you put up 28 points in the second half. I mean, you can play. That just shows you don't give up.
Going to check in with our official statistician, Trip Reynolds, as my live stats aren't updating. Get the updated numbers on Mason Cox here.
It freaked out on me. We're fixing it.
Looking like
Who caught the touchdown?
we lost it at 256 yards of passing for him. And that was before the big play over the middle. So he's nearing the 300-yard mark. So let's see what Bluefield's got up their sleeve on the onside kick.
22.
And again, if you're Faulkner, you're in position to come away with a win, but you cannot be happy about this second half and the way your team is played.
Oh, no, especially if I'm the defensive coordinator. You look at, flags, missed tackles, and really a lot of MAs as far as missed assignments. And those are things that when you go into the offseason, you look at that, it's like, we're up 35. We should not give up 28 points in the second half.
That one kicked deep. Charles Blackman fields it at the 26, and he'll fall forward to the 32-yard line. Bluefield can only stop it once with a minute 13 to play. 22 of 38, 287 yards and 3 touchdowns for Mason Cox. Off the bench in the second half.
He was pushing 300.
So Faulkner should hold on to win it here. But again, I can't say enough about Bluefield. Down 35-0 at half in a season where you're already 2-6.
Yep.
You got a long ride home to West Virginia, and they come out in the second half. They score 28 points. They play with a sense of urgency, and they go into the offseason in a much better spot.
Truthfully, if I'm the coach for Bluefield, I'm not mad at the effort at all. I'm not, especially in the second half. I mean, we could have been looking at a shutout if they don't play the way they play.
So Bluefield will take the timeout, make Faulkner have to snap another one, take another knee, and second down and 10 with 1:10 to play. Snyder will take another knee here. Guys, I want to, we've talked about these teams. I want to acknowledge the work of a lot of people that made this season possible. And folks that worked through a lot of difficulties and challenges. Dacia Sanford and the Faulkner University cheerleaders, they had to adjust to things as well with COVID restrictions and what they're going to be allowed to do. But we appreciate Dacia Sanford and all she did with her cheerleaders this year. Stephen Foster, again, we talked about earlier, Dr. Stephen Foster and the band. Not a normal year for them, not able to do what they're normally able to do. And we did show their halftime show during the break. We wanted folks to see that, but we appreciate them putting in the special effort to be part of things here. Murray Wilson and the crew here at Montgomery Parks and Rec, we didn't know where we were going to play this year, and they came up big for us, and they've been great partners, and we really appreciate them and what they've done to make this possible. And listen, we've got new turf. Eventually, maybe, supposedly, that's the rumor, that we're going to have in place by the fall. We're excited about that. Or destruction and eventually construction set to begin this week on that. So we will be back home in the friendly confines of the Billy D. Hillier Stadium in the fall. And he won't say anything publicly to anybody about it ever, but we will acknowledge him when we have the chance. Our athletic director, Hal Wynn, has navigated some really tough waters over the last year. A sinkhole and a pandemic and all sorts of fun things that have resulted in all of these sports being played in the spring. And we want to thank him for his efforts and what he's done. That we've now completed a soccer season, a volleyball season, and a football season, all in the spring semester, sports that we wondered if they were going to get to play at all. So a big thank you to all of the folks who made these things possible. And lastly, I want to thank our FSN crew, of which Trip Reynolds is a part here in our football season. He agreed to be our football statistician for the spring, despite being a third-year law student who's really, really busy and, quite frankly, doesn't have time for us. But he has been big for us. That's allowed us to work all the events that we need to work. I want to thank Grayson Plunkett and Jacob Hartsfield and Buddy Bagsby, Ethan Forsman, Johnny Helms, who came in and helped out today. Tay Lindsay, unable to be with us with a family medical issue. Brother, we love you. We're praying for your family. We missed you out here today. Those guys made this possible all season long. I want to thank Natalie Wilson, who, despite her high level of bouginess, is very dedicated to FSN, to Joel Sellers. All of our guys, the ticket workers down low who have been checking temperatures and scanning tickets in a different world, to our liaisons who have, you guys don't realize we've got Faulkner students that are meeting teams when they arrive, that are doing temp checks and when they have to and helping the trainers out and have been the face of Faulkner for so many of these visiting teams. I want to thank all of them. I want to thank Deshaun Bullock, buddy. We don't know what the future holds for you. We know what we would like for it to hold, but 3 years you've been with us now for a little over 2, but you're in your 3rd year as part of our broadcast team. You've been the voice of JV basketball, of Faulkner volleyball, and now Faulkner football. You've been with us for 3 seasons. We love you. We appreciate you. We're thankful to have you. To David Turner. Get better at life. Now, listen, I want to thank everybody for making this season possible. It's been unique. It's been challenging. It's been memorable. There's no question about it. And I think that when this is all over, we're going to be really thankful that we got this thing played even when it ends in April. So, guys, thank y'all so much. For that crew, for Deshaun Bullock, for David Turner, I'm Jeremy Smith. This has been the Faulkner Sports Network presentation of Faulkner Eagle football, the 2020 season in the spring of 2021. Lord willing, we're back with you in August as we get ready to kick off the 2021 season. Good night, and God bless you.